Welcome to English Podcast.
Welcome to this deep dive. Today, we're tackling discipline.
Yeah, discipline, but not in a complicated way.
Exactly. Forget the, dense theories. We're looking for practical steps, things you can actually use, like right away.
And our sources, well, it's kind of simple on the surface.
It is. It's a chat between two friends, Leo and Maya, from an English learning podcast called How to Be Disciplined.
But the advice in there,
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty universal, isn't it? Really solid stuff for anyone wanting to, get things done.
Totally. It's fascinating how such a straightforward conversation just gets right to it.
It really does. It kind of cuts through all the usual noise about self-discipline.
Right. And it shows that it's not some, magic trait you're born with.
No, it's about strategies, things you can actually do.
Okay, so it kicks off with Leo asking Maya how she manages to stay so focused. And that question itself, who hasn't felt that?
Oh, absolutely. How do you stick to your goals consistently? It's the million-dollar question sometimes.
So what's Maya's first bit of advice?
It's direct. Stick to a routine.
Routine. Simple, but powerful.
Very powerful. Because think about it, the routines, they kind of automate your behavior, right?
Yeah, it takes the thinking out of it.
Exactly. You shift the effort from constantly deciding to just doing. It saves that mental energy.
That makes a lot of sense. But then Leo brings up that classic problem.
The motivation dip.
Yeah, he says something like, I always start strong, but then I lose motivation. And honestly, that sounds very familiar.
It's probably the most common hurdle. That initial burst of enthusiasm wears off.
So what's Maya's take on that? This is kind of the core, isn't it?
It really is. She basically says, discipline means doing it even when you don't feel like it. Boom.
Ooh, okay. So it's not about feeling motivated all the time.
Not at all. It's reframing it. It's a conscious choice,
Yeah.
acting towards your goals, regardless of how you feel in that moment.
That's a big shift in perspective. Okay, so how do you actually do that? What are the practical tips?
Well, she suggests setting small goals.
Small goals. Okay. Sounds maybe a bit basic.
It does, but it's incredibly effective. Think about those huge, overwhelming tasks.
No, they can just paralyze you.
Right, breaking them down into tiny, manageable steps. That's the key. Little wins.
Huh. So each small goal you hit gives you a little boost, builds momentum.
Precisely. It stops you feeling stuck under the weight of this massive thing you're trying to achieve. Have you ever felt that? Just stuck.
Yeah, constantly. And her next point kind of ties into that, right? About staying consistent.
Yes. Consistency. Showing up regularly, even if it's just for a tiny bit each day.
So it's not about heroic efforts once in a while.
No, it's more like compound interest for your efforts. Small, regular actions add up. They accumulate over time and eventually lead to big results. It's the steady drip.
Okay, small goals, consistency.
Yeah.
What else?
She also touches on avoid distractions.
Easier said than done today, right?
Definitely. But just mentioning it makes you think. It highlights how much our focus gets pulled away.
So the idea is to actively protect your focus time. Identify what pulls you off track.
Exactly. Even just identifying your main distractions is a big first step. Then you can figure out how to minimize them.
And then Maya wraps it up with some encouragement, right? Something about taking it slow.
Yeah, basically. Just take it one step at a time.
Which is a good reminder, I think. Progress isn't always linear.
No, it isn't. And it reinforces the small goals idea. Be patient with yourself. It's a gradual process, building discipline, not an overnight thing.
So it's interesting. They were talking specifically about learning English.
But these principles, routine, acting when you don't feel like it, small goals, consistency, handling distractions, you can apply them to absolutely anything.
That's the real key takeaway, isn't it? These simple ideas are actually, profoundly effective if you use them.
Totally. Discipline isn't some mystical transformation. It's just consistently doing these small, smart things.
Okay, so let's quickly recap. The heart of discipline, based on this chat, is really about consistent action.
Yep. Driven by routine, even when motivation is low.
And breaking down those big goals into smaller pieces, plus actively fighting off distractions. Those are the crucial strategies.
Makes sense. It's all about building that discipline muscle bit by bit.
So that leads to a final thought for you listening.
Yeah, consider this.
Yeah.
What's just one small area in your life right now? Where could applying just one of these tips, maybe setting one tiny goal or starting a really short daily routine, like 5 minutes?
Or even just identifying one main distraction you could try to eliminate.
Right. Where could doing just that one small thing potentially spark a bigger positive change? The kind of ripple effect.
What might that one small adjustment be for you? Something to think about.